Hello, testing, 1, 2. Hello, I think this is working now. Hello, and welcome to Weasel's World, Episode 1. Yes, hello, welcome to Weasel's World, the first ever vlog from Weasel here at Weasel Studios. Now, you may know me as Aran Sheehy, or you may also know me as Decoy Octopus, if you know me from the musical world. If you know me from the FIFA world, you might know me as the Great Khali. But whichever moniker you want to go by, that's totally cool with me. I'm Weasel, and this is a vlog series that I've wanted to do for a while, but I've just finally got around to doing it. I was a little bit maybe anxious due to anytime I do a talking head video on social media, there's always someone in the comments saying that I have a really boring voice, and that's kind of like, I'm aware that I have a boring voice, but just to constantly be reminded by random people has put me off doing a vlog series. But I just said to myself recently, you know what, forget all those haters, I'm going to do it anyway. Maybe you'll be able to hang in till the end and tolerate my really monotonous, dull, boring voice, which I'm aware of, so there's no need to comment saying what's the story with your boring voice, etc. Now, if you clicked into this because of the thumbnail or video description, don't worry, I am going to get to that really soon. So the title of this video is How I Unknowingly Surpassed My Idol, which is true. That is something that happened to me very recently. So I'm going to get to that soon. I just first want to cover last week at Weasel Studios. So this is Weasel Studios here in Dublin 5. It's a nice little boutique music studio that I've been working out over the past few months. Formerly a tattoo studio, but it's converted into a music studio quite nicely. I've been working on some really exciting projects, and yeah, I'm going to make this a weekly vlog, so I'm going to do it every Monday, or I'm going to try to the best of my ability to do it every Monday. So just going to quickly cover what I've done in the past week. So it's kind of a good news, bad news situation, really. So the good news was I uploaded a live set onto YouTube. Caffeinated Breaks, it's called. So this is part of my Live at Weasel Studios series that I'm doing, where I'm trying to do a bunch of videos of me playing live sets in different kind of headspaces and frames of mind. So the influence for this was Aphex Twin, who wrote an entire album while he was asleep in the well, not really asleep, but he was constantly sleep deprived and dreaming and waking up mid sleep to write music in a dream state. And I really wanted to give something like that a go, but I don't really like being sleep deprived. So instead, I'm doing a bunch of live sets, in different headspaces. The first edition was drunken late night drunk jungle set, which is on YouTube, which you can check now if you're interested. Which actually turned out really good. And then I followed that up last week by dropping a caffeinated breakbeat set, which was filmed early morning. Here's a little clip of it. Yeah, and to be honest, like straight after doing it, I was like very much leaning on the side of like, I don't know if I should post this or not, because I wasn't really happy with how it went. Funnily enough, the 1 a.m. drunken filming was so much better than the 6 a.m. early morning caffeinated filming. So make what you will of that. But I decided to just go with it anyway. I'm trying to be less of a perfectionist these days and just kind of uploading more stuff. And I feel like with music and with a lot of things, like right after you finish, there is that kind of little voice in your head that tells you something's really bad. But very almost always then when you look back in a week or 2 weeks time, you're actually left thinking, this is actually pretty good. Maybe I was being too harsh. So I look back on it now and it was pretty good. So yeah, I probably, for the next edition, I'm going to need a new gimmick. So if you've got any gimmicks below, please do let me know. Like, so I just need like a different kind of frame of mind / musical genre. So I was thinking about doing THC techno set. Like, I think that could be pretty good for episode. It's actually going to be episode 4, because the first episode was just like a regular live set. But if you've got any ideas, like I'll pretty much do anything. I'm up for doing any kind of other than Heroin House. I probably wouldn't do that now. But apart from that, like you give me an altered head state and a genre of music, and I'll film a live set in it. No problem at all. So that was the good news, getting the caffeinated breaks up on YouTube. The other good news was I finished an upcoming pop single I have with a long-term collaborator. So that's going to be coming out sometime soon, probably in the next 3 months, I'd say. Really, really excited for this now. If you know me from music, you probably know me as someone who makes kind of like synthwave and jungle and techno and all the different electronic instrumental genres. But my most successful song is actually a pop song. So I'm always looking to do more pop music. So again, if you're a pop music artist and you want to collaborate with me, just drop me a line in the comments and let's speak because um yeah, I'm finding it quite hard to find good people to collaborate with. Like I've reached out to a lot of people, a lot of different vocalists and pop artists, but I don't know. Like it seems to be really hard to kind of make things work with them. Like because I understand my music is a bit weird and kind of off the wall. When I'm working with a pop artist, I kind of need them to meet me halfway and be willing to make a song that is a bit weird but also kind of poppy. I find that a lot of pop artists are like quite unyielding. They're like they want to work with me in theory, but then when it comes down to actually working together, it's like they want to basically do me just to produce a song in the exact style that they've done before. Like they don't really want to meet me halfway, if that makes any sense. Or maybe they'd say the same thing about me. Maybe they think that I'm unyielding, but I've got one really, really amazing long-term collaborator in the form of Blackheart, and we've released 2 songs today, and we have another song in the works, one possibly even more. So I'm really, really grateful for getting to work with her. But like that, I'm always on the lookout for pop artists to work with. So again, if you're a vocalist or a pop artist and you want to collab together, drop me a line in the comments, and I will get back to you. So I probably shouldn't do this, but just because you've managed to sit through this many minutes of the video already, I'll give you a quick little 5-second preview of that pop song that's going to be coming out later this year. Okay, you ready? 3, 2, 1. Nice. I'm so excited for that. Yeah, really, really looking forward to it. Now for the bad news in the last week. Yeah, I quite a bit of bad news last week, or not so much news, but I was really, really sick for a lot of the week, with man flu, which wasn't fun. And then apart from that, in the past week, a project that I was supposed to be working on that had been in development for the past few months actually fell through. I mean, I had suspected that it was going to fall through for a while, but it was quite disappointing. If you've been following me on social media, especially Instagram, you'll have noticed that I'm doing a lot of reels to advertise my music production. That's because for the first time ever, as of a few months ago, I've been really kind of motivated to make a lot of money. You know, I've had a reason to make the money, not just money for the sake of it. If you know me personally, you'll know I'm like very much not a capitalist and I love making music just for fun and then, having enough money to get by. That's great for me. I'm totally non-money motivated. But something basically happened in a personal life where it's like, right, you need to make money. And I've been enjoying the challenge of making money, actually, reaching out to people and trying to find people to produce music for. And it's been going really, really well. There was one project in particular that was going to be a really big kind of paying project. Like it was going to pay about €5,000 in total, working for an American person, producing a bunch of rap songs for them. I guess looking back now, I probably should have seen from the start that there was warning signs there that this might not be 100% genuine. But I really, maybe I just wanted to believe it to be genuine, or maybe I was blinded by the fact that it was such a potentially profitable job. But yeah, I just got the confirmation this week that it's not going to go ahead. After it's probably about 2 months of back and forth with this person's manager, and because I was always waiting for something to come through or for the planets to align, and then it was going to be good to go. But Unfortunately, not. So that was disappointing. But at the same time, if I'm looking back now, like I wasn't really that excited for it. I guess I just really wanted to do it because of the money. Whereas all the other music projects I've been doing, I've been kind of excited about, that person's music and really thinking that I can help elevate it. Whereas I'm not a fan of rap, so I was only going to be working on this for the money anyway. So maybe it was for the best. And maybe I was guilty of already assuming that it was going to work out and I was going to be 5 grand richer, 5 grand earned more towards my goal. But that wasn't to be. But yeah, just in general, like, has anyone else found recently that American people, like, just back in the day, it used to be with American people, like, they'd say, oh, let's do this. And then you'd be like, okay. And then they do what they said. But I feel like these days, like, a lot of the times American people say, like, oh, yeah, let's totally do this. And then you say, okay. And then they just change their mind about it. Like, what is that? American people, why? Why are you changing your mind about stuff so much anymore? Why can't you just do what you say you're going to do? That used to be famous for doing what you said on the tin. Whereas these days, I feel like the tin of America says one thing, but actually does pretty much the opposite. So if you're American, if you could just drop me a line in the comments and let me know why that is, and maybe when you plan on starting to do what you say again, that'd be absolutely great. But yes, finally we get to the title of the video: how I unwittingly surpassed my idol this week in terms of music production, right? So for this story, I'm gonna have to set the scene and give you a little bit of context. So basically, let me take you all the way back to 2016, right? Back in 2016, I was 26 years old. Maybe I can actually even get a photo up of 2016. Right, this is me in 2016. 26 years old, which, if you do the maths now, I'm actually 35. So I don't feel 35, but definitely I am 35, allegedly. So back when I was 26, I didn't know anything about music production. I'd never produced a song. I could play drums. Like, I played drums in bands for a good few years at that stage. But I wasn't particularly a good drummer. I was actually very, very average at drums. Now, I could, hold my own in a band scenario, but nothing special at all. Like, and I'd always kind of wanted to pursue music production, but I just never really had. I had other stuff going on in my life at that time. I worked a lot to get my college degree. Like, worked at the degree, and also, I was working 40-hour weeks on top of that in a fast food restaurant, which wasn't fun. Pretty much had like an, I would say, nervous breakdown, or like definitely like borderline like mental collapse after getting my college degree because it was so hard. And I had a few years then where I was basically drinking, gambling, up to no good. Just I felt like they were needed just to kind of like reset my brain before I could figure what I wanted to do. But when I was 26 was when I really figured that, okay, I want to be a music producer. I want to be an artist and a producer. So I started down the path of music production, and it just started really, really slowly. I got a drum synth, was the first ever thing, which I can actually see right now. You can see it right here. This is the first ever piece of music production gear that I got. It's really cool. The Nordrum 3P. Still use it to this day. Still works perfectly. Almost 10 years later. So I got a drum synth, and I got Ableton then after that. I got a totally 100% legal, non-pirated version of Ableton. Well, actually, I do have a 100% legal version of Ableton right now, but I'm going to be honest in this podcast. Like, I'm not going to lie about anything. I'm just going to, because I actually really believe in honesty. I've worked as a journalist before, and too many people are dishonest these days. So just for the sake of the truth, I'm going to be 100% honest and say that I pirated Ableton. If anyone in Ableton was watching this, I'm really, really sorry. In my defense, it was Ableton 9 and it was a 64-bit version, so it wasn't even good Ableton. I have good Ableton now that I pay for 100% legally. But yeah, so I had my pirated Ableton, I had my drum synth, and yeah, I just kind of started learning more things, very kind of like steadily learning piano. I started learning music production and just developing my skills. In 2016, there was also a person who we're going to call, for the sake of the story, we'll call them music producer A. Okay. Yeah, music producer A. Right. I want to say who it is, but you'll see towards the end of the story why I don't reveal their name. So we've got music producer A, and when I was starting on my path of music production, music producer A was someone whose work I really, really admired. Like I'd actually admired them for years at this point. Music producer A had been in multiple bands and had a solo project and had been involved in different projects and had made a film soundtrack. And in my mind, music producer A was just the pinnacle of being a music producer. Like they were doing everything to a really high level, and I didn't even fathom or think that it would ever be possible that I could get anywhere close to the abilities of music producer A. Um, so we flash forward now to 2026. So since 2016, um, well, I'd say maybe 2017, 2018 was when I really started to lock in for it. But since then, I've been every day working at my music production. You know, every week I watch YouTube tutorials to learn new skills. I'm always practicing piano. I'm always writing new songs and trying stuff in different genres. I've got two qualifications from college since then as well, both with music. One is in composing music for video games. And I'm self-aware that I've got able to produce music to a very good level, you know. And I've worked with people for the past number of years, but mainly I was working producing my own music, especially while I've been working full-time jobs on the side as well. So I was working along quietly, developing my own craft, and then this year, obviously, as I stated earlier, you know, I'm trying to make a bit of money to get it together for personal reasons. So I've been reaching out and working with different artists. And there's one artist I've been working with in particular. We've actually been working together for a few months. I've been doing co-production and mixing and mastering for this person who is really, really talented. And when we first started working together, they said something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, you're doing a great job. We're really, really happy with your work." We'd been working with another music producer, and we weren't really that happy with it. Like it was okay, but we always felt like we could get someone who understood our sound better. Um, I thought nothing of that because I know that there's a lot of producers out there who are like kind of hard selling their abilities, who maybe aren't quite fully rounded in terms of their skill set. So I just assumed it was, or just assumed it was like a wrong stylistic fit. You know, you might get someone who produces music in a different genre to yours and it might not quite gel. So I thought nothing of it. I've since went on to do quite a few songs with this person. And then just last week when we were speaking, they happened to mention like, oh yeah, you're doing a great job again. Which is brilliant. Now I'm not. I sound like I live off praise. I honestly don't like that. This person was saying this stuff completely unprompted to me. But they then mentioned they're like, oh yeah, like we're really happy because we had previously been working with this guy, and we weren't 100% happy with their work, and the person then name dropped who that producer was, and it was music producer A. I couldn't believe it. Like I actually, when I read that, I was like, oh my gosh! Like I just thought all the way back to 2016 me. Let's go again, 2016 Weasel. Um, to think, I mean, this guy could never have imagined that he'd once be in a position to be considered to be on the same level as, or even to have surpassed the music production abilities of music producer A. Now, why am I saying that? I hear you ask. Well, I'll tell you why I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it to gloat. Oh my gosh, look at me. I'm better than music producer A. All these years later, I finally surpassed the guy who I once idolized. Because I'll tell you something, I actually never idolize people anymore. I feel like everyone on planet Earth is a flawed human being, and idolization is kind of an unhealthy mindset to have. If you idolize someone, I mean, it's an easy trap to fall into because we're all humans. We all have passions and desires, and say if it's music or sports or whatever your passion is, it's easy to see someone who's at the pinnacle of that and then to kind of idolize them as some sort of godlike figure. But, you know, when you meet those kind of people, like, you're usually just normal people like you, and they just so happen to have been in their field for a long time, and they've worked really, really hard every day to get to the position they're in. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because, yeah, I guess I'm basically just saying this as kind of like a soft sell to anyone who's watching this who is perhaps looking for someone to co-produce or produce or mix and master their music. The one part of music production that I struggle with is going on social media and doing the hard sell, because as I mentioned, like, I'm not a capitalist. I don't believe in kind of coercing or tricking people into giving you their money, even if it's for a service. I said something about it still is just off-putting to me because I'm totally not money motivated. But I'm just coming out here now as a music producer to say, if you are looking for someone to work on your song, um, shoot me a message. Let's see what we can do. Send me the demo on. If you send me your demo on, I'll give you an honest appraisal. Like, do I think that we could work on this together? Could I enhance it or make it better? Or if I think that I can't, I'll be honest with you, because the joy I get in music isn't out of getting clients to pay me huge sums of money to produce their music. It's out of helping people enhance their songs, and, helping people who are maybe like the 2016 version of me to develop their craft and to develop their skills, and making sure they can have a song that they can like hang their hat on. Like, okay, for the rest of my life, I'm going to be able to listen back to this song and then to remember, like, yeah, that's what I was going through at the time, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. And realistically, if you're a music artist or, a composer or a band or whatnot, if you're trying to produce, mix, master yourself, learning from scratch, I mean, that's what I did. And I was able to get to a point where I can produce, mix, master all my own music. But it takes a very, very, very long time. And it takes a lot of hard work. And maybe you're up for doing that hard work, but you got to realize, like, I made serious, serious sacrifices, like virtually not having a social life for 10 years, working on music production every day, going to college to study it, always learning new things, always practicing. Like, you can bypass all that stuff. You can do music and still have a social life if you're willing to outsource the correct parts of your creative process to capable people. So in my case, co-production, production, mix and mastering. So yeah, if you want to hit me up below in the comments and maybe we could work together, just let me know. And that is the title of the video dealt with. So all we really have left is next week. So what's on the agenda for next week here at Weasel Studios? I actually have an EP coming out this Friday, a Decoy Octopus EP. So if you've been following me on social media, you'll know I've got a new alias as of 2026, which is Decoy Octopus. If you know the game that's from, PS1 game, then congrats to you. I say a lot of people do know the game, but they actually don't know the character. That's why I was kind of enamored by this guy. Like, I've actually always been enamored by Decoy Octopus ever since I think I was about 9 or 10 years old, and I was in primary school, and my friend was telling me about this game called Metal Gear Solid, and he had it, and it was the best game ever. And he brought me in the instruction booklet, and I remember I think I actually even took the instruction booklet home with me, and I was just like reading it, like really looking forward to, I was going to be going to this guy's house on Friday to play the game. And instruction booklets used to be like a really big part of games, like a big part of the aesthetic, kind of way, the same way, like, a record sleeve is a big part of a vinyl aesthetic. So I remember reading the Metal Gear Solid instruction booklet, and for some reason, like, it was going through all the members of Foxhound, so like Sniper Wolf, Vulcan Raven, Liquid Snake, and then they had a guy called Decoy Octopus, and all the other, all the other guys had like really long kind of description about them, and then Decoy Octopus was just like, oh, he's a master of disguise, and very little is known about him. And for some reason, I was like, that's so cool. And then when you actually play the game, you only really realize that you've met him like way after you've met him. At the time, you don't realize at all because he's a master of disguise. And So capable was he at being a master of disguise that even to this day, in 2026, like, 27 years later, no one remembers him. That's how good he was. So I'm making this music project of Decoy Octopus where I'm releasing PS1 era jungle music with a modern flavor as a homage to Decoy Octopus being one of the greatest masters of disguise there's ever been. So I've got my first Decoy Octopus EP, which is called Demo One, and you can see the artwork right here, and that's going to be coming out this Thursday actually. So that's on the agenda for this week. And then apart from that, I'm going to leave you with what I hope to make a regular feature. We're going to go for a goal of the week, because you may know me also as a FIFA player. I've got a lot of FIFA videos up here on my YouTube channel. So, quick context: me and my friends have a FIFA team who have gotten to the top 100 world rankings in each of the last 2 years. So I think we're currently sitting at about 600 this year. We've fallen off a little bit, but it's not over yet. We may yet make a march for the top 100. But each week when I do this podcast slash vlog, I'm going to put in a FIFA goal. So this week's goal is going to be
Oh, what a goal.
Get that man on camera.
What an
and leave.
assist.